So we have a number of Montreal Canadiens related topics to dive into today, starting out with yesterday's bombastic win against the Minnesota Wild. 4-3 at the Bell Center, with Cole Caulfield ripping it with 15 seconds to go in the third. The Montreal Canadiens recover to defeat Minnesota. Yes, it's true, they had the lead multiple times in this game, but Minnesota kept fighting back, and it wasn't until Cole Caulfield's 25th of the season in the third period with 15 seconds to go that the Montreal Canadiens actually walked away with the victory. That, and the fact that the referees had something out for Montreal in this contest. Minnesota went 2 for 4 on the man advantage, Montreal 0 for 3, and you could also say that the validity of some of these calls was to be questioned. But ultimately, there were a number of really good things that we saw from this game. For one, you had Philippe Danault getting his first goal as a Hab back in the Canadiens' colors. Played out in front, and he buries the rebound right by Jesper Wallstedt. Alexandre Carrier, who had been super hot fire coming into yesterday's game, also scored his fifth, a tip-in, right in front. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but Alexandre Carrier took the puck in down low himself, popped back out, and was able to get the tip in the slot there. Really nice movement from the Canadiens' right-handed D. Brock Faber scored in the second, and you also had Lane Hutson with a beautiful slap shot. Look at Ivan Demidov. He gets the pass right here. He receives it off of the skate, stops up with it. The Wild are frozen. Demidov waits. Demidov holds. Demidov pulls it out to the far forehand. He sells shots so hard here. And then he's like, nah, I'm just going to go over to Lane. Boom, one-timer, it's in the back of the net, and the Montreal Canadiens get their 3-2 lead in this hockey contest. Vladimir Tarasenko has been super hot as well lately. Big shout out over to him. He's really revived his career in Minnesota. He tied things up in the third, and then Cole Caulfield finishing off a beautiful pass, a short-range pass, but a nice pass nonetheless from Nick Suzuki. Caulfield blasts it on net, and it beats Jesper Wallstedt. It is a 4-3 game for the Habs. Lane Hutson with his 43rd assist on the year. Obviously, he had scored a goal earlier in the game, and with all this in mind, Lane Hutson is now at a total of 52 points on the season in 2025-2026. Now, the thing with Lane Hutson is, there has already been such a big buzz about him over the course of this season. Yesterday's game proved that this was all worthy. I mean, look at the slow-mo replay of the Lane Hutson goal. Demidov holding it. He's looking at the net the entire time. All of the Minnesota players are focused on that Demidov shot. And then last second, he no-look passes it over to Hutson, who is on the side. He rips it. Look at the wide-open space by Wallstedt. You've got the defenseman in front trying to block it. It doesn't work. It squeaks underneath the arm and into the back of the net there. Lane Hutson's elite. And by now, you have probably already seen the video of Subban going out there and talking about Lane Hutson. This was a 1 minute and 42 second clip that was making the rounds on social media. Subban, of course, was Montreal's last Norris winner over a decade ago. And he went out there and spoke the truth about how Hutson should be in the Norris conversation. You talk about Quinn Hughes, you talk about Cale Makar, you talk about all these guys that should be in there. Lane should very well be in there too. And you can say that he doesn't necessarily have the reputation to be suitable for that type of discourse just yet because, he's only a second-year player, he's only 5'10", he's on Montreal. He hasn't been in the league long enough to fully justify those talks, but really, when you watch the guy play, what else are you going to think about? What other conclusions can you come to when you watch Lane Hutson suit him up and you watch him score over a point per game in his last 5 and 10 games and be over a point per game on the season in general? 52 points in 50 games played for Lane Hutson. He is on pace for 86 points. You go over to D-men scoring in the NHL. He is now tied for second in defenseman points, just 2 more points behind Makar. And I gotta remind you here, Lane Hutson is not playing with Nathan MacKinnon and Marty Necas. Lane Hutson is tied with Zach Werenski. He's above Evan Bouchard. Quinn Hughes... Yeah, no, the thing about Quinn Hughes is he's actually starting to make his return to the top of the list ever since getting acquired by Minnesota. That's really been the shot that he's needed to improve his offensive productivity. Not that he wasn't effective in Vancouver, it's just the Canucks suck. So Quinn Hughes, as long as he continues doing what he did yesterday, because he was going out there and scoring points against Montreal on the power play, that, of course, is going to probably allow him to rank higher on this list. I'm just kind of curious looking at the list here. I mean, the variance between the top guys, 3 dudes at 50 plus. Lane Hutson is, of course, right there, tied with Zach Werenski. Cale Makar is number 1. I think just based off of point production alone, you cannot ignore the fact that Lane Hutson is right there. And the fact that he is pretty much the straw that stirs the drink on a lot of Montreal Canadiens' offensive chances does give him another leg up. Like, yes, you can say Cale Makar can do the same thing for the Avalanche, but it's so difficult to fully attribute things to him when he's got MacKinnon and Necas. Those guys are equally important when it comes to creating offense. And you can say the same thing for Hutson and Caulfield and Demidov and Slavkovsky, but I would argue that Hudson's value to the Montreal Canadiens is a tad higher than the value that some of these other players bring to their teams if you isolate them out. Like Darren Radish, for example. He's 10 points behind Lane Hutson, but that guy, I mean, he's always had a blast of a shot, and he's been very good offensively throughout his career, but he was an AHL defenseman for most of his life up until this season when Victor Hedman got hurt. I'm not complaining. I've got Radish, Hutson, and Evan Bouchard on my primary fantasy team, so I'm kind of feeling good about that. But still, Lane Hutson has proven himself worthy based off of strictly the points alone. You also think about the impact, the magnitude, what he brings to the Montreal Canadiens on and off the ice. There's so much to like about this guy, and his overall clutch factor, I think, is one of these things that we are getting accustomed to seeing as Habs fans watch him score slap shot goals and actually improve his shot. It's literally the Quinn Hughes conversation all over again. Too small to play in the NHL, so he drops in the draft. Quinn dropped from maybe 4 to 7. Lane Hutson dropped from the first round to number 62. And then when he makes the NHL, it's like, okay, well, he's got to improve his shot. Well, guess what? Lane Hutson, it took him forever to score his first NHL goal. He ended up scoring 6 that season. And now this season, he's got 9. On pace for 15 goals over the span of 82 games. Did anybody really think that Hutson would be a 15-goal scorer? I certainly didn't. In fact, when you compare Hutson to Quinn Hughes, this obviously is the nicest comparison we can do, comparing the ages and where they were at their different stages of their careers. When Quinn Hughes was 18 years old in the NCAA for the Wolverines, he had 29 points in 37 games. When Hutson was that same age, he was way over a point per game for BU. At age 19, you can see the same thing here. Hutson severely outproduced Quinn Hughes. At age 20, Hutson had a better rookie season point production-wise than Quinn, although Quinn had a lot fewer games played, so that definitely takes things a little bit down for him. And then you have age 21, where Hutson is now on pace for 86 points. He's over a point per game. He's already eclipsed Quinn Hughes' 21-year-old year in fewer games played, so hey, there's so much to enjoy out of the progression of Lane Hutson. Quinn Hughes now, I mean, he had a 90-point season, he had a Norris winning year. PK Subban's going out there and saying that Hutson should be in the Norris conversation now. And with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with this assessment? And how far are you going to take it? Should Hutson win the Norris this year? Does he have a leg up on Cale Makar? How do you feel about this entire debate? Let me know in the comment section all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Rolls 99. And bye.